Evening, boils and ghouls. It's the Randymole here, sort of doing my little movie tag thingamabob that seems to be all over YouTube. Now, I don't have a YouTube channel of my own, so I'm sort of cheating, because I guess I'm probably not really allowed in this club. But I don't have a channel of my own. My mum won't let me on a computer because she thinks a handsome chap like me would probably get groomed. So I normally piggyback on Jambo Shango's channel. A few people on his channel commented, said that they were interested in my answers. Don't know why, but I've given it some thought and I have some answers for you. I hate lists. I know I love lists. I love writing lists, but I can't make a decision, and it's so subjective. I will change my mind every couple of days, so this is just what we're going to go with right now. But the one question I can definitely answer is, what is the best movie of all time? Well, it's Jaws. It's Jaws. Definitely Jaws. It's Jaws. Mark Kermode has written a lot about Jaws and talking about how it's a film not about a shark, it's about so much more than that, and it is a perfect movie. You know, it's a film that relies much more on its script than it does on its shock value and about and its effects. It's cheeky in the way it's directed by Steven Spielberg. It's got those little cuts as people move. It's a story of men. It's a story of life and what it means to be a man. You know, you've got three central characters in there. Robert Shaw's Quint. Robert Shaw's Quint is the hard man, the blue collar, won't play with anyone else, wants to get the job done. He's basically an action hero. He's almost the template for a lot of modern action heroes, in the sense of they're looking at the older gentlemen to be action stars. I'm thinking like Liam Neeson in Taken. So you've got him grizzling away. Then there's Matt Hooper, who's kind of a nerd really, but he's the fact that you can be clever and you can be intelligent. And he's the opposite of Quint. You know, he's for money. He's a man of money. He's out there because he wants to prove to himself and to the world that he can do something great. And then you've also got Roy Scheider's Brody. You know, he's battling with being a family man. He's battling with himself. He's battling with being taken seriously in a town that doesn't want to take him seriously, doesn't need to take him seriously, doesn't see anything as a problem. You know, it's white picket fences. It doesn't age. You know, you can watch this film at any day of the week and it still hits you how good it is. You know, even the Jaws effects, I will go to bat for them. They are great. That's what a shark looks like. Go and look at a shark. It looks much more like Bruce from Jaws than it does from CGI shark, Samuel L. Jackson eating things from Deep Blue Bollocks, or whatever that film is called. My least favourite movie of all time. Oh, God. Right, it's not the worst film ever made, but actually, you know, things like that have charms. Film I dislike more than any other film. I hate Mrs. Doubtfire. Cannot stand this movie. It's just a mess. You know, logically it doesn't make sense. In fact, actually, I'm quite offended by a lot of the things that and the actions that Robin Williams' character takes in it. You know, it's weird, it's pervy, it's creepy. The man needs locking up. What's the next question? The next question is, who is my favourite actor? I thought this was very tricky, but I'm going to say it's Michael Keaton. I'm Batman, and Batman Returns, and Birdman, and Vulture. Basically, you need someone to be some sort of bird wing thing. I'll do it. But also in his more serious roles, you know, Spotlight last year where he played Robbie Robinson. Even when he plays the small roles, I'm thinking, you know, Jackie Brown, Tarantino's best film by the way, played a very small role as Ray, and just little things like that, he elevates what he's in. He is the best thing about a lot of films that he's in. And he's just so watchable. You know, recently he's been a bit of a resurgence with things like The Founder and Spotlight, you know, and as the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. You know, he was the best thing about that film, actually. He made it more than just a throwaway Marvel movie. You feel that he's a warm, nice guy, but there's just something going on behind his eyes. And that's why he is, and will forever be, Batman. My favourite performance in a film ever by an actor isn't Michael Keaton. It was actually Jason Miller as Father Karras in The Exorcist. My single favourite performance of any actor in any film is Father Karras in The Exorcist. Actress. Now, my favourite actress, I threw around a few names. I was thinking maybe Sasha Grey, Lexi Bell, but as soon as you move away from the porn industry, it's quite tricky. Women don't lead films, and I think it's awful. I looked at my Blu-ray collection, and really, I was thinking about this, and I was like, do you know what? It's really hard to choose a woman actor that's been in loads. They talk about sexism in Hollywood, and I think it does exist because I don't know. I did find this one a lot trickier. I have chosen. I'll tell you who I've chosen. I've chosen Alyssa. I've got a name now. I've chosen. How bad is that? Alyssa Vikander. Yeah, it's like Alyssa. We've got Alyssa. She's my friend Alyssa. I think she is probably the best modern working actress at the minute. I think she elevates everything that she's been in. Ex Machina being one of my favourite movies of recent years. She's working cross genres, which I quite like, because lots of actors get pigeonholed into one genre, don't they? They always become the final girl, or they're in the horror films, or they're in the teen films, and then they sort of disappear. But I like the fact that she's worked across genres, and I think she's fantastic to watch. What's the next one? Director. Oh, I can't answer the question. I cannot physically answer the question because directors do good work and then they do bad work, and then you look so forward to seeing something and then it's a pile of dog shit. When you look at the bank of a work that someone's done, it's exciting to see the good and the bad, and you would want every one of the films to be amazing, but actually no, you need those things that you feel like, no, this is my film, this is the only, if I go down the horror route, Wes Craven made some crap films, if we're all honest about it, but he made the amazing ones, he made the stunner ones, then he made the, Serpent and the Rainbow is one of my favourite films, and I'm going, Serpent and the Rainbow, but lots of people haven't seen Serpent and the Rainbow. Just looking down, I started to write lists of directors, Robert Zemeckis did Back to the Future. I mean, how do you beat that? David Cronenberg, God, his visual styling is just absolutely amazing. Ridley Scott, you look at films like The Martian, it just looks amazing, the first Alien film, but then you've got a lot of crap that he's done as well. Joe Dante, I love Joe Dante, I love his cheeky, old-fashioned Looney Tunes feel to everything. Then you get David Lynch, Wild at Heart, how that film just oozes power. Friedkin did The Exorcist. Spielberg, he's done a lot of shit, and then he's made like Jaws, Jurassic Park. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I can answer it. Frank Darabont, doesn't get enough mentions. Stellar filmmaker, absolutely stellar filmmaker. He allows stories to unfold, he tells them properly. I think more of an interesting question could be, who's the best screenwriter? Because I do think good scripts with a good director is how you get the best films. So let's move on. What was the next one? Favourite horror genre? Favourite horror genre? No, favourite genre, horror. Next one, favourite horror movie. My favourite horror movie, after a lot of thought, is The American Werewolf in London. It's scary, it's funny, it's got great creature effects and practical effects are better than digital effects, but it's more than a horror film, it's a proper film, and they're the things that I love most about the horror genre. I like the splatter, I like the gore, I like the silliness of a lot of it, but what I really like is when you get that horror film that transcends the genre and is a solid film, like a really, really strong movie. Don't get me wrong, American Werewolf in London is definitely a horror film of, it took that old Universal Monsters sensibility and updated it much better than any of the recent remakes of Universal Monsters did. I adore it, so don't stray from the path. Favourite animated movie? I'm going to agree with Jumbo Shango's. If you wanted to go classic Disney, just Disney in general really, Beauty and the Beast is my favourite animated Disney movie. But my favourite animated movie of all time is much more recent than that. It's Paranorman. If you've not seen Paranorman and you're a horror fan, you are absolutely missing out. Leica Studios are amazing. I go to the cinema to watch everything they do. I love stop motion. I'm a huge Ray Harryhausen fan, but Leica are doing it better than anybody else at the minute. But Paranorman, if you've not seen it, is about a child that sees ghosts and has to save his town from the zombie outbreak. Right now, I am saying it is the best zombie movie of the last 10 years, and it is one of the greatest zombie movies ever made. It is up there with Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. In fact, they are probably the 4 best zombie movies. Oh, Shaun of the Dead. Okay, it's the best zombie movie that doesn't have the word dead in the title. The soundtrack, it's got to be Guardians of the Galaxy. Very noisy. But if we're going with score, then we're going with Jurassic Park, aren't we? John Williams, actually pretty much for everything, is awesome, isn't he? We've already talked about Jaws, but Jurassic Park is that tune. If you've ever been to Universal Studios in Florida, with Islands of Adventure, when you walk into the area that's got the big Jurassic Park archway with the flames at the side, and you hear that music, you get goosebumps. It is iconic, iconic. Many of John Williams' scores are, but that's probably it for me. I could argue E.T. I absolutely love the E.T. score. I mentioned a lot. Maybe I should have just put Spielberg as the best director. I mentioned a lot of his films, aren't I? One of my favourite films in the last few years, a film that on repeat viewings just gets better and better, is Midnight Special. My God, the score for that's good. What was my favourite cinema experience? Now, I won't say it was the first time I went to the cinema as a kid, but I may be slightly wrong. But I went to see Masters of the Universe with my dad. And I remember being awestruck by how amazing this world building was that was going on. It absolutely blew me away. And I remember specifically the bit where Courtney Cox gets her leg all gangly and being like, and like grabbing my dad and not liking it, and actually feeling like, wow, films can be scary. So Masters of the Universe was groundbreaking for me. Now, move this dude out of the way. Come on. Hey, he's going. Only kidding. Shit, he's alive. Oh man, he broke my Michael Myers. I can't do guilty pleasure. It's too hard because, especially as a horror fan, you watch a lot of crap and you love them for different reasons. So I'm going to slightly cheat and change it to not my guilty pleasure, but what's my comfort movie. My comfort movie, if I'm ever feeling a bit down, a bit sad, a bit hungover, is The Burbs. So often I find that people have not seen it. Watch it. It's Joe Dante film. It's an old-fashioned feeling, but it's really about that suburbia. It's about what's going on in your neighbourhood, but everything's done with its tongue firmly in its cheek. I love it. I absolutely love The Burbs. The last question on the list is, what is my favourite foreign movie? I did see Jumbo Shanks Brotherhood of the Wolf, which I thought was a really, really good call. But I am going to go with Pan's Labyrinth. I absolutely love Pan's Labyrinth. You could take out the real world elements of this film and you would have one of the greatest children's films of all time. But it's set in such a nasty backdrop. I love the ending. I love the creatures. Guillermo del Toro played all of his best cards with this. I love Del Toro, but again, like lots of directors recently, it feels like he's drifting a bit more into the CG creatures and just lay off it. You know he got into films like this because he wanted to make these worlds and these monsters, and I want to see more of them. I want to see monsters made around. Cool. Well, that was just my ramblings. All this year, I'm putting up all the reviews of every film I watch. Started in February. Subscribe to Letterboxd, which is an app, a bit like Twitter, but you tag every time you might see. So find the Randymoles on Letterboxd if you want to know what I'm watching. Keep checking out Jambo Shango's channel, particularly the 87 of Horror, because I'm in that bit. Let us know what you think. That's kind of me done. So, peace.